Pierre seems that he wants to make Canada great again. He seems to want to conserve some foundational things that he believes Canada stands for. I think that he is a great choice for Prime Minister. It's not that he's necessarily doing a horrible job. It's just unfairly Canadians don't like him anymore.
When you say Harris, nobody knows who the hell you're talking about. No, nobody has any idea. Harris. Hey, where's Harris? They know Kamala. They know Kambabla. That was the nickname I used for a while, but I don't use it anymore because everyone thought I was just mispronouncing her name. I wasn't. Kambabla.
Pierre Poilievre, the conservative leader who's been described as a soft populist due to his appeals to everyday Canadians and establishment elites, including corporate Canada, seems to have gotten an endorsement from Elon Musk. Welcome to CozyCorner TV, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Kieran Smith, call me Q, and we are on the corner, ladies and gentlemen. We're on the corner, and we are on the corner talking about Pierre Poilievre, the conservative leader who could be named as Canada's next Prime Minister. He seems to have a lot of support, namely from a special someone in the United States who has his attention, Elon Musk. Elon Musk said that Pierre would be a great leader. In fact, he should be Canada's next leader. I believe this is a post that Elon posted on X and Pierre was made aware of. So let's jump in and see some of the comments Pierre had during this press conference about Elon Musk, about the state that Canada's in, the direction he believes they should be headed in, and some of his plans if he were to be Canada's next Prime Minister.
They're all Justin Trudeau. Our border's out of control. A lame duck Prime Minister.
It says, Poilievre hits out at Liberals. They are all just Justin Trudeau. So he says all Liberals are Justin Trudeau. They're all duplicates of him. Conservative leader calls out border and fentanyl issues. Trudeau should call for elections now, conservative leader says.
I just got a belated haircut, and the first thing that the hairstylist said to me is, "What the hell's going on? Everything's completely out of control. It's nuts. I've never seen it like this." And she's right. But before we get to the obvious of the last 60 days of liberal chaos and the threats that that weakness has invited from incoming President Trump, let's just talk about everything that was out of control before that. Housing costs, out of control. Doubled after 9 years of NDP Liberals, rising faster than in any other country in the G7. Food costs, out of control after the NDP Liberal carbon tax caused grocery prices to rise 37% faster in Canada than in the United States, driving 2 million people to food banks. A quarter of our kids, according to federal data, are going to school hungry, and a quarter of our families are living in poverty. The worst inflation in 40 years. After out-of-control liberal deficits and money printing, increased our money supply by $700 billion, or 40%. That is to say, 10 times faster than the growth in the output of our economy.
And it's interesting because I said this in my last video when I was talking about Justin Trudeau's resignation announcement. Canada sounds like it's having a lot of the problems that the United States has been having. Now, rightfully so, we understand why. A lot of this is being blamed on the Liberals, which here in America, same thing. A lot of it was being blamed on the Liberals and or the Democratic Party. So a lot of the points that he's making, it seems to line up with a lot of our past election and some of the things that the American people were saying.
Spending out of control. The deficit hit $62 billion. Remember, we were all supposed to accept the excuse that COVID caused the deficit, but as we get further and further away from COVID, the deficit actually gets bigger and bigger. The deficit 50% bigger than it was supposed to be. In fact, we found out the same day that the finance minister who was supposed to tell us about this failure resigned and blamed her boss.
It says border woes.
Our border's out of control, with dangerous poisons pouring in from China and Mexico, manufactured into deadly fentanyl that has killed 47,000 of our people. Crime.
Liberals turned back on Trudeau. Sounds familiar with the Democratic Party in the United States, huh? Liberals turned their back on someone too.
We have a lame duck prime minister, rejected and fired by his own caucus, unable to respond to threats from abroad or crises that he and his party caused after 9 years at home. And why did they get rid of him? Did Liberal MPs get rid of him because they disagree with his policies doubling the housing cost? Did they say that all of a sudden they changed their mind on quadrupling the carbon tax up to 61 cents a litre? Is it because they feel guilty over the hell they've unleashed in our streets? No. They say he's doing a great job. It's just that Canadians, unfairly, don't like him anymore. And that unpopularity threatens their power, paychecks, and pension. And so...
Sounds familiar. So it's not that he's necessarily doing a horrible job. It's just unfairly Canadians don't like him anymore. And that threatens certain Canadians. It threatens their paychecks. It threatens their powers. Mainly liberal Canadians, which is what he's been addressing in this speech.
Right before an election, the Liberal MPs want to elect another Justin Trudeau, who has a different face. They're all Justin Trudeau. They're
Liberal MPs, meaning Liberal members of Parliament.
They're all just like Justin. In the next election, I will be running against Justin Trudeau. Whether his name is Justin Trudeau, or his name is Chrystia Freeland, or Carbon Tax Carney, or Carbon Tax Clark, they will all be Justin Trudeau. They supported everything he's done, and they promised to keep doing it. And if they say otherwise, we know they're lying, because they would have done so earlier. Let's go through the list. You have Carbon Tax Carney himself to this day. He's on the Liberal website as the Chief Economic Growth Advisor to Justin Trudeau. He hasn't even resigned from that position after Justin Trudeau has resigned himself as the leader. Presumably then, Carbon Tax Carney supports every single economic policy that has given us the worst decline in per capita GDP of any G7 country, that has doubled our debt, that has taxed our people, that has destroyed our productivity.
Tariffs, a self-harm for America.
Second, we need a prime minister who can make the case to our economic allies on the ground in America. Should go to the American workers in the Midwest and their union and business leaders and say, how many jobs are you prepared to lose by hitting Canadian energy with tariffs? Energy that we sell to America at discounts that create six-figure jobs for American workers. How many of those people will go out and work? How many of those hard hats will be laid down and boots will be unfilled? Because...
And the reason why this is his approach is because he really starts to get into like, hey, there's a lot that we can offer our American allies. Like instead of, so he really wants a partnership instead of all the tariffs. Yet the talk about Canada becoming another state of America, I can honestly say him and Justin Trudeau both have said that's not something that's going to happen. But he's talking in this way because he believes there should be much more of a partnership rather than the tariffs harming the American people and the relations between the Canadian and American relations that we have.
Americans will lose jobs due to that self-harm if those tariffs go ahead. We need to go to American home builders and say, we can help you build more affordable homes if your government would stop tariffing our softwood lumber. We need to go to the American tech companies and say, you could have access to our unmatched, totally reliable and clean electricity sources for your data centers.
And then he goes into talking about how Americans can have access to their clean oil instead of dealing with Venezuelan oil. So he really is talking about a partnership here that he wants to kind of build with America without becoming a state of America, even though Donald Trump has jokingly made many posts on X, what a great nation we would be if Canada were to join America. So we're going to hop over now to where he talks about he mentioned some things about Elon Musk because he's basically asked, I don't know if the reporter here is going to ask, but he was asked, did he accept Elon Musk's endorsement, because Elon Musk went on X and made a post saying that Pierre Poilievre would be the next Prime Minister of Canada. Like, he would be a great decision. He thinks that he's a great choice for a leader. So we're going to skip over to that part. On Elon Musk praise for Poilievre.
Mr. Poilievre, Elon Musk seems to be a fan of yours. He tweeted a 100% emoji recently in response to a tweet that says, Pierre Poilievre is extremely impressive. He should be Canada's next leader. The sooner, the better. I'm wondering what you think of this, and do you accept his endorsement? In French and English, please.
Well, first of all, my 3-year-old had just told me that he wants to go to Mars, so I guess Mr. Musk would be the right guy to put him in touch with. The fact is that it'd be nice if we could convince Mr. Musk to open some of his factories here in Canada and create some jobs, high-paying jobs for our people. I think Tesla, his company is one of the biggest, if not the biggest automotive company in the world. Wouldn't it be nice if we were producing more without corporate welfare, without corporate subsidies, like the Liberals favor? We had more of that production here in Canada. I think that would be fantastic. So if I ever get a chance to meet Mr. Musk, what I would say is, how do we make this an economy where we bring home hundreds of billions of dollars of investment to Canada so that our people get the paychecks? And why is it that after 9 years of NDP Liberals, it's Americans that are getting all the paychecks and all the growth? What is it that NDP Liberals have done wrong to drive these hundreds of billions of dollars out of our country? That is the question that all Canadians should be asking. And when I'm Prime Minister, there's going to be massive, this is the message I have for the Americans, by the way. The days of us just handing over our businesses and our jobs because of our economic vandalism by this big, fat, money-hungry government in Ottawa are over. We're going to have a fierce, free market economy that competes with every country on earth. We're going to bring it home.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Pierre, I think that he is a great choice for Prime Minister. I mean, he really has a strong moral foundation. You know, he seems to be a very family-oriented family man, seems to love his wife, love his child. I mean, he has a great foundation for where he wants Canada to go and what he sees. And he seems to want to conserve some foundational things that he believes Canada stands for. And that's why I said it was such a huge resemblance of what happened here in America during our election. You know, the American people spoke. There were things that were happening that America said, hey, we're not dealing with this anymore. You know, he is vehemently against corporate Canada. You know, he does not like, you know, any specialty treatment amongst elites or fattening their pockets or anything like that. He is for the working class. He's for the people, and he wants to get Canada back to Canada. So, yeah, not saying what Trump said, but, you know, Pierre seems that he wants to make Canada great again. And it seems like he has a lot of support. You know, Justin Trudeau resigned, and a lot of Canadians were very fed up with him. A lot of people were not pleased with him. I'm going to kill this fly the minute that I find it. But a lot of people were not pleased with him. So, yeah, I'm dying to know what you guys think about all of this. Like, how do you guys feel about Pierre? Do you think he's a great choice for a prime minister? How do you feel about Justin Trudeau resigning or stepping down? I believe he's been in place 9 years, I think it's been. He's well loved by a lot of people, just like our president, Joe Biden, well loved by a lot of people. And some people were like, hey, they wanted Joe to stay in the race regardless of what was happening. They just did not want to vote for Donald Trump. So I'm wondering if in Canada it's the same thing. If some people are like, hey, I just don't want to vote for a conservative, or I don't want to vote for Pierre. So what do you guys think about what's going on over there in Canada? I'm wishing our Canadian friends the best, you know, as their election approaches and they figure out how that's going to work out. But what do you guys think? I'm dying to know. Light up that comment section like I always tell you guys to. Let me know what you think about what's going on with the prime minister. One resigning, one coming in, the Liberal leaving, the Conservative coming in. Do you think the Conservatives are going to, you know, like pretty much have the entire parliament. What do you guys think? I appreciate you guys stopping by and chilling on the corner with me. Until next time, guys, be peaceful, love yourselves, love one another. Peace.